What are the main benefits of going to the Canton Fair? So, as most of you probably know, the Canton Fair is the biggest trade show in the world, 25,000 plus exhibitors. The actual space itself, so the venue space itself, I think is something like 1.8 million square kilometers. Just think about that for a second. The place is absolutely immense. So it's filled with loads of different kinds of suppliers for various products broken down into 3 phases and so on. But what I really want to do is get into the details now. I want to say why it's essential that you go, really. I guess if you're insisting on going, imagine that the Canton Fair is potentially like a large Walmart, but for B2B buyers, where you'll get a relationship, or you'll get the chance to establish a relationship with new suppliers for your existing products. So that's one key point really, is where you can actually build up a relationship with new suppliers for any new products that you might have previously sold in the past. You know, that's a great place, a great meeting point to basically meet these suppliers. It's also a great meeting point to meet your existing suppliers. So up until now, you might have only had contact with them on Alibaba, or through email, or on WeChat, or on WhatsApp, or on Skype. But your actual suppliers might be attending the Canton Fair, and that's a great place to sit down and take the opportunity to really sit down and meet with them, and potentially even negotiate lower prices with them whilst you're there at the fair. If you've already done business with them, that is. So I guess that's the first point. And the second point is, as they say, your network is your net worth, right? So during the Canton Fair period, especially for e-com sellers, there's going to be various summits, various meetups going on. I'm sure a lot of these will be posted out in the different Amazon FBA business groups. And for those of you attending, it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to network. So you'll be able to network with other like-minded professionals in the same industry. And you never know what a relationship could eventually lead to. So the networking aspect is fantastic. Another thing is with regards to actually being able to physically see the products in front of you. So a lot of the time when you're ordering products from China, you're doing the usual requesting a sample, waiting however long it takes for DHL, FedEx, TNT, UPS or whoever to deliver that sample over to you. Or potentially waiting for all your samples to get consolidated from different suppliers in China and then get sent over so you can inspect them. But at the fair itself, you'll get the opportunity to actually physically see the samples on site and save all of that time that it would take for the courier to arrive, for you to then relay your thoughts back to the manufacturer if you want any changes or any customizations done. So that's actually a really good opportunity to do that. And that goes for trade shows in general, not specifically related to the Canton Fair, but just any trade shows in general. But since we're talking about the Canton Fair, that is one of the benefits of being at the show. Another one, I guess, is you really wouldn't need to sit and wait like that usual week or however long it takes to establish a relationship with a manufacturer. Similarly to the way that you can actually check the samples on site, you'll be able to instantly develop rapport and a relationship with a manufacturer from the Canton Fair, which is a huge stepping stone because in China, a lot of good business is done face to face. It's done at meetings, it's done over dinners, it's done in a social way. So business in China is conducted in a very, very social way, dissimilarly to here where it's kind of like, okay, you want to do business, here's an invoice, here's a PO, here's the wire transfer, done, deal finished. The Chinese really like to long the whole process out and sit down, have dinner and take you out and host you and so on. So that's another benefit, right? Is to be able to establish that rapport and, you know, really get down into a deeper level of a relationship with your existing suppliers or any new suppliers that you might meet at the fair. Another key thing happening for those of you that are attending phase 1, if you're into consumer electronics, at the same time there's also a fair happening in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong and Guangzhou, these days it only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours maximum to take a train to go from Guangzhou East going over to Hong Kong. And you could literally go to Hong Kong for the day, visit that trade show, and then come back into Guangzhou. So there are so many different reasons. I could go on and on. I mean, Guangzhou is an incredible city, right? There's wholesale markets all over the place that you'll get the chance to explore. So in every industry, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you will find a wholesale market in Guangzhou related to your industry. Now, whether you should be sourcing your products from those wholesale markets is a completely other question, which I'll have to cover another time, because sourcing wholesale versus going factory direct, big topic. But definitely it's worthwhile going to see those wholesale markets just to kind of get an idea for price differences. As I mentioned yesterday, the prices that you're going to be quoted at the Canton Fair are going to generally be a lot higher than what the items should cost in reality. So having the chance to really visit those wholesale markets is a fantastic opportunity. Culturally, you'll become culturally more aware of Chinese people, the way they do business, the way they conduct business. That's quite a big factor, because if you've never been to China before, you know, getting the opportunity to meet with 100+ manufacturers in a day, if you manage to do that much walking, is an incredible opportunity. So well worth taking that up just for those key points. So yeah, so you get the full China experience, you'll get to see what China's like, you'll get a better understanding for the way business is done in China, you'll get the opportunity to negotiate further with existing suppliers. And also, you might find that a lot of your existing suppliers, or a lot of suppliers that you've previously contacted on Alibaba, might not actually be going to the Canton Fair. And there's a good reason for that, which I won't cover right now. But most people, or most serious companies, don't go to the Canton Fair that much. Since you're going to be in China, you might as well make the most use of it, right? So take a plane, take a train, you know, get in a taxi and go to whatever city. It depends where you're sourcing from. So obviously, if you're sourcing your products from Beijing or Qingdao or Fujian or some other province, like, you know, take the opportunity to go and visit your suppliers. Leave yourself at least a good week to 10 days if you are planning to go, because it will be one of the best opportunities to actually go and visit the factories that you're already dealing with, or that you plan on cultivating relationships with. And it will also give you the opportunity to do that due diligence, to do the on-site factory inspections. Another thing is, at the Canton Fair, you'll get a chance to meet quality control companies. There'll be hundreds of them, all handing you out their business cards, and they'll all be trying to poach you as new clients. So definitely, you know, that's another benefit to attending. However, on a side note, if you do have business cards printed for the Canton Fair, create a new email address specifically for that show. Do not hand out your business cards with your actual email address written on it, because you are going to get spammed so much after the show. You'll end up exchanging business cards with thousands of different people, and in the end, by the time you get back, your inbox will be inundated, if not whilst you're in China, when you get back to your home country. So whilst you can also meet quality control companies, you can also meet new freight forwarders. So there will be a bunch of freight forwarders there. However, in my experience, like I said, I've been to about 15 Canton Fairs over the last 20 years. In my experience, these freight forwarders are going to be the most expensive that you'll find in China, because the cost of hiring a stand at the Canton Fair isn't cheap. And on a side note, the guys that are coming up to you with business cards being like, "Hi, I'm a freight forwarder, why don't you come and use my services?" are the people you want to avoid like the plague. Okay? So anybody that's coming and just touting you whilst you're going into the fair, or whilst you're walking around the fair and coming up to you with a business card claiming to be a freight forwarder, most likely isn't. They're probably just an agent or a middleman, or somebody that's trying to get involved, and probably somebody that you want to avoid doing business with, right? So keep that in mind whilst you're at the fair. I mean, you'll definitely have the opportunity to meet good freight forwarders, but as I said, alongside all the other suppliers, they'll generally tend to be a lot more expensive.